I didn't plan to make this as a podcast episode, but today I'm gonna talk with Ema about breathing techniques, about my challenge, about her experiences. Ema is a yoga teacher and she has plenty of experiences when it comes to mindfulness, meditation, and breath work. Enjoy. As you guys probably know, I was into the breathwork technique for the last 30 days. I would rather combine it with meditation or replace it with running. Breathwork techniques doesn't fit me as a standalone practice. You have two types of breathing techniques. The ones that are laying towards relaxation and the ones that are a little bit more intense, like the Wim Hof method. My perception about those techniques is that the ones that are a little bit more intense, they're laying towards cardio kind of exercising, and the other ones which are a little bit more calm, they are laying more towards meditation side. And there's a very thin line in there. What's your experience? Tell me.
I was really amazed that you wanted to take this on because many times people avoid doing the breathwork practice because it feels first of all, it feels a little bit mystical. It's like something religious attached to it. You see only very spiritual yogis. So when I saw you, that is someone who is very rational, very and likes the scientific approach, and you wanted to try this, I was very excited. And I think your discoveries or what you discovered is very relevant because the breathwork is relevant when you are preparing for something. So you discovered already that an activating breath is having an effect on your body, like you're preparing to go for a run. So you discovered that. Then you discovered that a calmer breath type of practice prepares you for meditation, which is actually true. So I'm glad that you had your own experience. I think it's really amazing. In my experience as someone who used to have asthma, I see the breath work relevant as standalone, but also to prepare for something. Actually, in the yoga classes, we use it to prepare. For example, we use the activating practice to prepare for a movement and to warm up, like to warm up the energy in our bodies. And we use the calmer practice to prepare for meditation. So it's actually very relevant. I don't know many people who take breathwork as a standalone practice, but I feel like all these effects that the breathwork has on the body is super relevant to someone who, for example, cannot move, like in the first case, right? If you're someone who's in a wheelchair, let's say, if you have this tool, the breath, to activate and to build some hormones in your body, it's amazing. If you're someone who's not really able to meditate or thinks they're not able to meditate, to have the breath to prepare for that is also really amazing.
And I think also the way that you find breath work on the internet is a little bit strange because except the Wim Hof method, which I think is a little bit more known, let's say, there are other methods that tells you that you will get some kind of drug type of feeling like DMT or this kind of terminology that I don't yet know or got myself, into research.
Well, to be honest, breathing makes you feel really alive. And that's, breath is like the source of life, is maintaining life. So when you feel so alive as a concept, but what does it mean to feel alive? It means you activate some parts of your brain, and that's already demonstrated. You get some hormones like dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, which
pump some blood.
Exactly, you pump some blood, so it can have like a drug-like effect. So we already know that it activates some parts of the brain that has to do with emotional processing, memory, and so on. So yeah, it can feel like a drug. It can give you a psychedelic experience. I can tell you from my own experience.
And getting dizzy?
Yes,
stuff like this.
Getting dizzy, feeling like everything, like after a certain practice, feeling like everything around you is much more colored, getting a strong refinement of the senses.
Yeah, from my experience, from the 30 days challenge, my only strange experience I had was with the Wim Hof method that was very intense. And because you breathe so fast, then your body seems to kind of has the need to faint or something like this, which for me is, I mean, this is how I understand psychedelic effect. For the more calm practices, they are more reflective, I would say, and it doesn't necessarily gives me a feeling of psychedelic effect. It just slows down the beats of the heart.
The purpose of that particular practice is to calm you down, right? The other one is to oxygenate and give you like a high experience. And there's an actual high that is happening to you after some practice like that, because you're not used to feeling so much oxygen, to having so much oxygen in your brain. So some people can have a slight sense of faintness, which is normal and shouldn't scare anyone. It's actually a proof that it's working, that more oxygen is getting to your brain, more parts of your brain are being activated. First time that I did some breath practices in yoga school in India, I almost fainted. It was so funny, and I realized at the time how little energy I have in my body. And I remember Anand, our teacher, he saw me like almost, and he was looking like, don't faint, keep your eyes open. It was so funny. I didn't get scared. I knew that I'm just challenging my own energy, but it can be challenging.
So I think a little bit of research before, so you understand how you should feel, so for you not to get scared, might be really advisable. Because if you just jump into like me into a 30 days breathwork practice, and then you start with the hardest ones, you'll probably freak out. I mean, I remember in the first week when we practiced together, I think it was second day or third day when we were here, and I started to get really cold. And then I think we did a little bit intense kind of breathwork practice, and my heart was beating very fast, and then my thoughts was kind of flying away, coming back, going there. I don't know. It felt very strange. And that was the point I got really curious about, okay, what's going on with the breathwork practice? And then we tried together the DMT practice, I think the next day. And then I started to practice from my watch the exercises that they propose, which are really different from what you find on the internet. They are very straightforward. It's like nothing really intense. You're like breathing in, hold your breath, breathing out, hold your breath, breathing in, and then you repeat this for 6 minutes straight, which for me was a little bit boring. So again, I think also in the breathwork practicing or breathwork techniques, there are different techniques for different kind of people. And if you find your own technique, that might be beneficial, I guess. I don't personally see any improvement, or I'm not able to see it anymore from the day I started breathwork.
You're also someone who meditates, who likes to meditate and is used to meditation. And I feel like breathwork practice is kind of preceding a practice of meditation, because some people and many people actually have a hard time focusing on something else. And when you have a breath which is really a breath work which is really simplest, like inhale through the breath through the nose, count to 4. For me and you, it will be like simplest. For someone who is not used to focusing on something for more than 4 seconds and holding that focus will be an actual challenge. So it's really interesting to have different perspectives, to have different people. You're already able and you have been already able to hold your focus and your attention to something. But trust me, in my classes I have people having challenges with this, like inhaling through the nose, holding at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and holding out, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah.
I think at first you have to know to identify yourself at a level that you are, and then to lift up your game after some practice. I know from your life that you're practicing breathwork daily. That's because you found some benefits, but you said you healed from asthma tell me more about this.
Yeah, I used to have asthma and very low energy in my body. So in asthma, what happens is your lungs get really constricted. So for me to learn to breathe into the belly, which is the most simple thing that you learn in yoga, like breathe into your belly. Wow, amazing. I cannot do that because my lower lung is not expanding. So that's what I was feeling. And with time and with the practice, I got to actually expand my lung capacity, which is helping me. And I no longer have asthma, but I do have another like side condition that makes my lower lungs be still a little bit rigid. So every day, for me to feel like I'm breathing fully, I have to do some lower lung breath work. And to be honest, I feel a lot more. So I've learned to use the breath work for my objective. So for example, when I wake up in the morning, I'm a very, very bad morning person. And I try to not do anything before doing my breath work and meditation. So I do meditation, a little bit of breath work, because I need to activate. Because otherwise I feel like all day I'm like, oh, I'm trying to wake up. Not even coffee is helping me. But when I do certain practices, I feel like alive. I see clearly. The mind fog goes away. So I use it every day. It's like, I don't know, brushing my teeth. And in the evening, sometimes I find that I can't fall asleep, and I do some stretches which I know release tension in the body. And I do some very mild breath practices just to calm, settle my energy. Because in the evening, the energy is scattered all over the place. You're active, and then you want to go to bed, but then you're in bed and you're like, I can't sleep. Then you want a breath that slows you down, right? So I'm using, as I know, if you breathe through the nose, it's activating. If you breathe through the mouth, it's calming. So my dad, when he was in the hospital, I heard a nurse telling him he had a really high pulse, like dangerously high, and we were scared he was go through a heart attack. So the nurse came in and told him, breathe in through your mouth. I was shocked, like a nurse, nothing to do with yoga, just pure science. So I'd breathe through the mouth. And science is demonstrating this. So I feel like for someone who wants to take up this practice, they need to know themselves. If they have anxiety, you're not going to go on a fully agitating breath. You want to go for the calmer breaths.
Yeah, and also from a scientific approach, I know from my track records, because I'm also tracking my sleep cycles, that during sleep, your respiration rates goes really low. And then when you wake up, you see on the tracker that it just jumps. It simply jumps. When you open your eyes, your pulse is like you're activating, or the process is towards a more intense heartbeat. I think breath work as a practice could be helpful, definitely. Like if you feel very agitated before going to sleep, and you can try to calm down the heart, and then when you wake up in the morning and you feel really sleepy, like making that transition towards a more like waking up faster, and that can definitely help. The question is, how would you recommend breath work to be practiced, or in what circumstances, how, when?
I think someone who wants to learn about this should contact a teacher first, because they will be able to guide. They will be able to guide you through your own needs and recommend like certain practices, and you can try them, see what fits you, see if it fits you as a standalone practice or not, see if you can integrate it. For example, I feel like when you start to integrate a breath practice with your daily routine to amplify. For example, you want to go for a run, and you want to improve, like to activate your lungs before running, because during the run, you want your lungs to support you. Sometimes I feel like when I'm running, I could run, like my body is still there, but my lungs are not, like my lungs are failing. So I realized that before every run, I need to do something to activate my lungs first and my respiratory. Yeah. So if you learn to use that another example would be when you want to take up meditation and you want to meditate, but you're not someone who can just sit there and be zen and levitate, right?
Yeah.
You want to calm your nervous system first. So as you learn how to use it, you'll see its relevance. I do recommend. It's huge part of my practice and my teachings as a guide. I don't think I've ever taught a session without breathwork first.
And I would say that I also recommend it at least for a certain period of time to see if it fits you, if it fits your needs.
I don't really recommend taking up videos before talking to someone, because if you're someone who has anxiety, for example, and you take up a really activating, you're gonna experience even more anxiety. So if you have hypertension and you use something that's causing even more tension, like activating you even more, you might get a vascular accident. So I think talking to a teacher and then knowing which kind of practice is suiting you, and then looking for that on the internet. These would be the steps.
Okay, but let's say you are balanced in terms of health, and
then
fine.
I mean, just you can experience
as a
whatever.
Curiosity,
Yeah.
I feel I would love to bring something new in my life.
Of course,
could be,
it works like that.
Yeah.
It works.
Cool. Hey, thanks very much. That's a very interesting way to explore life. And guys, don't be skeptical. Just give it a try. If it doesn't fit you, trash bin.
And we have so many videos on I Speak Yoga, and we do include a lot of breath work in the yoga practice, but we say what we use it for. Like we say, this is for reducing anxiety, this is for activating, this is for detoxing. So you will know exactly what your objective is with that particular breath work. So as he said, give it a try, see if it fits you, how it fits you, and just be healthy and breathe deep.
Enlarge your comfort zones, guys. Just don't stay there.
And your lungs.
And your lungs, yeah. Your lungs and then your comfort zones. This is the end of our talk. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.